Hello guys, we are on the seventh and final game in the coordination and harmony series, and this game is played between Whirl and Lamy in 2005, and this is a Slav defense. And let's see the game. Knight f3, d5, d4, c6, c4, knight f6, knight c3, e6. Now bishop g5, d takes c4, e4, and b5, and h6, bishop h6, and bishop h4, and g5, knight takes g5, hg5, and bishop takes g5. This Slav line is named after the former world champion Michael Botvinnik. Thanks to his efforts, many important resources were found, and even today, many of his ideas remain very relevant. Now, knight bd7 and to g3. White intends to place the bishop on the longest diagonal and to castle kingside. Bishop b7, bishop g2, and queen b6, protecting b5 and preparing to castle queenside. E takes f6, castle long, castle short, and bishop h6. Black wants to eliminate this bishop, which is protecting the f6 pawn. He is not afraid to weaken his dark squares, as he plans to advance the queenside majority and exchange his bad light squared bishop. Now bishop e3, a very good move, protecting the d4 pawn and posing an extra threat to the black queen. The bishop cannot be taken because the f1 rook would protect f6. And here instead of bishop e3, h4 would protect the f6 pawn, but the h file would be opened, compromising white's king safety. After bishop takes g5, h takes g5, then c5, now d5, and b4. The situation is unclear. Black has more than enough compensation. After bishop e3, now black pushes c5. The situation gets complicated. Black is ready to use the pin on the d file to activate his queenside majority and the knight. White needs to be accurate. He managed to find the best response. If at all black played knight takes f6 instead of c5, then queen f3 comes, and black has problems involving the knight and the f pawn. And now d takes c5, knight takes c5, bishop takes c5, and queen takes c5. And if at all rook could have taken queen, rook takes d1, then bishop takes b6, rook takes a1, and rook takes a1, and a takes b6. Now knight takes b5, and this is better for white. So then queen takes c5, and then bishop takes b7, king takes b7, queen f3 check, then queen c6. Now knight e4. This is an excellent move. White keeps the knight by placing it on by for the most influential square. This unstable and hanging knight will be a huge strength for white. Relativity makes chess more beautiful. There will be constant threats of discovered attacks, and more importantly, white gets to keep the queens on the board. One reason for this decision is that his king is safer. The other is that black's more advanced and more dangerous majority cannot be advanced that easily with queens on the board. Now rook d4, rook fe1, rook ht8, rook e2, rook 8 d5, a3. After this move, black cannot activate his majority without opening the a file. But there are no other promising options. Here a5, then h4, then b4. Black bravely takes a risk, which was a bad option. The advance should have been kept for later, after exchanging queens if possible. On the other hand, it is very difficult to find another plan. Moreover, white's amazing 27th move was quite unpredictable. After a takes b4, king h2, king b6, and now this is the 27th move of white, which was unpredictable, and that is queen h1. A really amazing move. It looks like an answer to some study. Take a look at black's centralized pieces and at white's surrounded lone king. Lone knight, like a white pigeon among black falcons. Other white pieces are on the rim, and the queen just joined them. Still, white's move is the best. That is chess in all its beauty. There is no chess principle that is always valid. So why that a move? As we have seen, the black king is without a pawn shield, and the a1 rook could pose problems. Naturally, white should find a plan to transfer the queen to the queen side. The queen should be transferred to a2 via b1. By transferring the queen to one corner via another, white actually achieves harmony. The queen both protects the knight and attacks the black king. Now rook a5. Black immediately wants to prevent the infiltration on the a file. Rook takes a5, king takes a5, now f3. After exchanging a couple of rooks, white doesn't need to keep the second rank closed. The knight gets protection and the queen is ready for action. Now king b5, queen a1, queen a6, now queen g1, and here queen takes a6, king takes a6, and g4, and simply advancing was perhaps an even easier and faster win. After queen g1, queen b6, king g2, black has no good moves. White patiently brings his king closer to the center and anticipates the check on f4 after launching the g-pawn. Now rook d3, queen takes b6, king takes b6, g4, now bishop f4, g5, c3, bc3, rook c2, bishop d2, king f2, king b5, and h5. Black resigns here. White's pawns are much faster. You can analyze the possible continuations yourself. A very instructive game with a remarkable maneuver of the queen with queen h1 to b1 and also to a2. So I think you would have enjoyed the game. I will be meeting you in the next series. Thank you all.